putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. The State of the Union highlights from me, since we didn't cover it yesterday. Hillary didn't give that doggone speech. That was the biggest highlight, right? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, lots of stuff. Trump had some zingers in there. And, you know, what's funny? The White House goes, this is a bipartisan speech. And it was. He talked about black unemployment being the lowest. The congressional black circus clowns just sat on their hands. They're mad. See, what people don't understand is it's opposite world for the left. The real people, sane people go, you announce that black unemployment is down. You would think that the Congressional Black Caucus would be clapping, would be saying, yeah, we did this, even though they didn't. We're the reason that they didn't do that. You want to know why? Because number one, they can't say it because it's Trump's. Trump is the reason. And number two, they hate Trump. They hate progress in the black community. Are you kidding? You want the Congressional Black Caucus to celebrate that crime is down in black neighborhoods, that blacks are going to college, saving houses, 401ks growing, getting jobs, stopping teenage pregnancy. What? No way. They live on strife. They live on angst. They live on anger. It was crazy to just sit there and watch this. Nancy Pelosi, I'm going to just say, she shouldn't eat ribs before she goes to the State of the Union. She was sucking on them, face all contorted, trying to get that rib meat from between her teeth, apparently, because, man, she had a scowl, and she kept contorting her face, like, I don't know if you saw it. I mean, she was mad. It was a sea of madness on the Democrat side of the aisle. And the biggest observation for me, I mean, this is truly the biggest observation. The Democrats at times when Donald Trump would say something that you're forced to agree with, like, we got to keep our military strong and make sure they have the right weapons, prevent needless deaths, avoid wars, whatever, things that are universally accepted. A few Democrats would kind of start to stand up and then they'd look around like, oh, shoot, did I get caught? Was I supposed to do that? Oh, no, I hope there won't be hell to pay that I actually almost stood up for something that I believe in. They truly are like Stepford wives over there. They check, they look around to see who agrees, who disagrees. Oh my goodness, please don't be mad at me, Nancy. Please don't be mad at me, little Chucky Schumer. Please don't be mad at me, whomever. I'm just telling you, it is the vibe. And that's the word we use in the vernacular. The vibe over there is not good. The fear that exists in them not presenting this unified force is palpable. You can actually feel it. You can see it. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Next year, in the next State of the Union, they're going to be standing. They're going to be people who are fearless. You're going to watch the Democrat power base completely crumble. I'm telling you, folks, you don't have to. Just because I don't wear one of those Swami hats and have a crystal ball does not mean I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you right now, next year and every year after this, you're going to watch the Democrats slowly crack. They're going to, I'm not even going to tell you it's slowly. This year they will crack. The worst thing that can happen right now that the State of the Union is over, is we're back to normal. We're back to Russia again. And the new conspiracy theory is that Nunez is a Russian spy. That's where they've gone with this. We're also being told that releasing the FISA memo may very well be treasonous. We'll get to that later because I want to stay on this topic for a while. So the highlights: Hillary Clinton didn't give the speech. The Democrats acted like Stepford wives, and at some point somebody over there is going to grow a pair and start going against the grain. And they're going to find success in saying, you know what? We need to stop fighting this man and we need to start supporting him. For the record, had Barack Obama done this, had he been this successful, I would have recommended that for the Republicans. Don't fight him. If Barack Obama was negotiating trade deals and evening out what's going on and getting the trade deficit into check, then I would have said support his trade policy. What Barack Obama did was he wanted to sign the Trans-Pacific Partnership, where we had a $387 billion deficit in trade against China. We had a 68, this is 2016 numbers, roughly a $68 billion trade deficit with Japan. And we had a $28 billion trade deficit with South Korea. And he says, let's sign up for more of this great plan. $500 billion almost of trade deficit in one region of the world alone. And Barack Obama wants to sign a new partnership. Hey, let's get some more of that beating. The only time I've ever signed up for a beating was when I was in martial arts. I paid for that because it was going to get me something down the road. Like it was going to prevent a future beatings. But I've never seen anybody sign up to get their butt kicked. And the future is you're going to continue to get your butt kicked. Well, I guess there are masochists. For all intents and purposes, the Chinese were our dominatrix. Okay. And we were going over there going, ow! Hit me harder, hit me harder, hit me harder. What an idiot. So Trump says, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We'll get to that in a bit too. Democrats apparently care more about MS-13 gangbangers than they do citizens. Trump brought two couples whose daughters, one on the eve of her 16th or 17th birthday, were killed, brutally murdered by MS-13 gang members who, by the way, went to school with them. Killed. Why? Probably because they rebuffed them. Didn't want to, be their boyfriend or whatever. So these guys go, hey, no big deal. We got Democrats running these cities. 6 MS-13 gang members. Can you imagine their lives? What do you think were the lives of the kids in this school? Being bullied and harassed. And not the threat of getting their butts beat, but the threat of death. And oh, by the way, they backed it up. And when Donald Trump is applauding these people, telling them that the nation feels for them over the death of their daughters, American citizens, at the hands of illegals that were brought into this country illegally under the children, protecting the children, and the Democrats sat their butts down, would not stand for that. That should tell you a lot, folks. They didn't stand for lots of stuff. Trump said we 100 times more than he said I. Somebody did the count. What he laid out was, here's what we've done. And I'm going to go back to, when you're laying out a strategy, you got to know where you are. Here's our as is. In a year, here's what we accomplished. We got rid of onerous regulation. Barack Obama says he took $2 trillion off in his 2009 speech by line item vetoing stuff. It was a lie. It didn't happen. Trump says, I took $2 trillion off by getting rid of all these regulations that were stifling business. It happened. If you put a checkbox on the things that Donald Trump laid out, I mean, I don't know if you watched it, and it's old today. I should have talked about it. I'm not going to lie to you. But I was, I was caught up in the McCabe stuff. But if you put a checkbox on the things that Donald Trump accomplished and said he accomplished, so it took $2 trillion out from onerous legislation. He brought coal back, clean coal, which means employment. He's brought 2.4 million jobs. He's taken, I don't know how many people, but he didn't say, but a bunch of people are now off of welfare, right? It stands to reason that they no longer becoming wards of the government. He's brought back I don't know, he gave a number, but it's the number of manufacturing jobs, which are the ones that people focus on. Not talking about service job, bean picker jobs. We're talking about manufacturing, good paying jobs. He highlighted a couple who had a company because of the tax break they were expanding. He brought one of their employees, a black guy who's a welder. And you know why it was important? He was saying to young black folks, you don't have to go to college and get some degree in social justice warrioring. You can get out there and get a job and be good at what you do and be featured by the President of the United States because you're good at welding. There's nothing wrong with being a good welder. In fact, I would tell you, learn how to weld even if you're a banker, in case the zombie apocalypse hits. Thankfully, we've staved that off a bit now that we've got a real president. And there were many other things. One of the most poignant things that I believe President Trump said was, Americans are dreamers too. And that was a powerful message to say to the left, you're focusing on the wrong dreamers. There are people in this country that you should be focused on in every one of your districts, and you've let them down. Americans are dreamers too. In fact, we are so much dreamers, they call it the American dream. And they don't call it that because it's for foreigners to come over necessarily. They call it that because when you become a citizen of this country, you have access to it.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.